I'm coming for next week. But I see single that is for next week.
Well, I was like in the middle, like the
I remember that I'm taking math. Because I was like, with fighting computer science, but I'm like, I need to take math.
So I already have classes.
we even named them.
Excellent.
You could say that Trump was like, and then Pam was like,
I tried because they're both 5 classes. Yeah, so that was crazy.
or you could just put, that Trump told Pam they can't do that
I'm just scared.
because he's more,
Oh, yeah.
say, traditional, or is that what we're getting? What's another word for old school?
Traditional?
That's what I don't know.
Well, because you can change your That's why my mom, when I started interviewing, she was like, you can't. And I tried not to, but I added my opinion. So it's going to take me a start.
I mean, they would work, like,
It's going to take me
When I was younger, I would hear that a lot of men would pee in monsters or like black things.
I beg your pardon.
what about road trips?
I did too.
Yeah, I've seen a lot.
The thing
Yeah,
was
like,
that,
that has happened a
at the
lot.
beginning, it was.
Well, you're not supposed to pee outdoors. Except when your kids.
No, but it's funny because
That's less good.
I heard a lot of moms tell her, it's like, I'm not going to the tree because it's here for you to pee.
No, you can't do that, because like if a cop drives by,
That was
yeah.
something used a long time ago. Why? Not right now.
Well, still. Like, that'll put you on a sex offender list, believe it or not. Yeah, don't pee in public. Don't do that.
What?
Why? Because
No, what? I
You
didn't
see
hear
your
what
voice.
it said.
commenting on a story.
Oh, maybe, but
So, but that goes more for guys, because Vegas, they really don't do it, because that's
When
just,
you guys
That's
go on
true.
road
Yeah,
trips,
fair enough.
they get more.
Guys are pretty
It's a
gross.
higher chance to get bacteria.
When we were younger, yeah.
Yeah, right?
That's what we're talking
But
about.
when we got older, it's kind of weird. So
Yeah,
like,
they
you
don't,
can
they
just
just
wait.
do that in
Yeah,
but
and you
like
can.
when we were younger, they would do that, right?
Yeah.
No, because it's because we're talking about this item, and she says how it reminds her of a method that's been considered a method, right?
It's like a new like product for women to be standing up.
Oh,
So
that.
that reminds her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shaped like that.
That's why we're talking.
I promise
you're
that's
talking
not what
about-
that's for.
It's
mean, I
to
guess
put
you could-
oil in the car, huh?
And there you go.
So put oil in the car.
A little more time, Ms. Rivera, or
Oh, we're in.
you done?
Yeah.
Okay,
We just did a whole story, everything about the answer your question.
Excellent. All right. Let's hear what you got then.
Oh, we go first?
Sure.
Cool.
Please,
Okay.
break it down for us.
What do you mean burger?
Tell us how it happened.
Okay.
Oh, because we did it as a story and it just answers the questions.
Great.
Okay, yeah. So 3 Asian female ninja, Pan, Tan, and Ching, plus their lookout Chung, wanted to attend an exotic party that is only attended through private code invitation by computer. The girls thought of a brilliant plan to steal the computers from their lab. On the night of the robbery, the girls used field hat, spray to drug one guard protecting the lab, and then spray the room in search from any laser alarms.
Oh, good call.
Once reaching the computer, Pan used the code on her log tag to bridge the computer system. Once they were hacked, and they began loading off the computer in their back van outside. After loading the last computer, Chong yelled to Pam to not forget his green and red bow tie that he hopes to wear for the party once their scheme worked. Pam, however, did forget the bow tie.
Ah, what a shame.
Yeah.
Because it's so stylish, right?
Yeah.
Okay, right on. Excellent, excellent. So, is that what really happened? Who's next? Okay, is that what really happened?
I mean, yes.
Oh, okay. So your story completely agrees with them. What do you got?
Okay, so we decided that a fancy history professor who was also an alcoholic
Okay.
stole the computers because he knew that you know how he's a professor, so he has online account for the university.
That's true.
He knew that they were gonna do maintenance, and then he knew that the cameras were gonna be shut down.
Oh.
So he was the last one to stay in the library, but he pretended to lock the door, but he didn't because he used one of the cards to prevent the door from completely closing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he saw that there was a security guard guarding the door since the man was not there. So he went home. He got drunk.
Like a bit of liquid courage. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came back to the library. He got his thing because he's an alcoholic.
Right. Yeah.
He got his thing. He hid.
New school and old school, right? Yeah.
He hid the security guard with the soft side because he didn't want to kill him.
Oh, okay. Just
So
mildly
he knocked
concussing.
him- Yeah.
Okay.
He knocked him down. He opened the door because the cuffs stopped it. And while drinking, he was taking the computers. He stole the computers.
Got it. Okay. Right on.
So he did it because since he's a history teacher, he was angry that people were taking online classes rather than to actual
Right.
class.
Of course. Yeah.
And since he's really because he's really traditional, and since he's a history teacher, he realizes that maybe all these technological advancements are killing society.
Oh, okay. So he's like one of those cynical old guys. I see. Okay. Fair enough. I actually know some of those people. Excellent. Excellent. Well done. Fabulous. All right. Who's next?
Okay, I'll go.
Is that what really happened, or did something else happen that night?
For us, something else happened.
Go on.
Okay, so for who did it, the birthday boy and two of his best friends
Okay.
wanted to steal the computers.
Birthday boy and his bros.
Okay, and how they did it, they heated up the lock with the pipe lighter and then stuck the corkscrew in slightly in and jiggled it until it opened.
Okay.
And then why they stole the computers? Because the birthday boy didn't want just one computer for his birthday.
Oh, greedy birthday boy. Okay, fair enough. Take us home. What do you got?
So we chose that Egyptian spies stole the computers, but so they used the Nokia phone to hack into computers,
Yeah.
and also they blackmailed every single one of them because they used security guards to look through it while they're
Ah, how fiendish.
So if they weren't granted the computers, and then so they broke into it and they wanted the computers because they were broke. And they were selling the ashes of a rich Egyptian man.
Okay.
But they wanted to use it as an incentive, but they just left it wherever they did. And then they stole all the computers. But in a way, they don't really care about rich royal people once they're dead.
Right.
So that's why they just left it there. The computers they don't really need, but they used it to sell.
Oh, okay. Like to turn a profit.
And then this is actually disguised as a knife.
Got it. Okay. And so that's how they were able to threaten people?
Yep.
Knew it. It's perfect. All right. Excellent. Excellent job. So, you got amazing stories in front of you. Here's what I want you to do. By way of practice, take a look at your stories. I'd like you to summarize them, please. Now remember, when you summarize them, you look at the important words, the nouns and the verbs. And just as before, when we summarize, try to condense your story into, at most, 2 to 3 sentences.
The next day after using the minor makeup layer and alcohol too. It has a smell like
It says it is definitely a spirit. So you're gonna start with the line, frustrated by whatever it was. Like you want to think what? And you're gonna do it. Your body.
that's happening now.
Does it work? Excellent. That's all right. That's all right. Did I scare you?
With modern technology or something. So they can stop about trying to
How we doing? Got 3 wells for you? That's your cheers. You did this already. I'm sorry? Oh, we're the same, okay. Nice. Well, I can't fault you for being consistent.
We told you we would sit out, but
No, I want you to participate. I want you to be part of it.
maybe next time you can think of a different scenario, so that
There you
way
go.
no one else can.
Yeah. Well, I'm open to suggestions. Think of one.
Are you doing red ivy today?
We'll see if we have time. The problem with doing that today is that it would have to be after lunch. Yeah, and I know that would be a huge bummer for everyone. But if you wanted to do it before lunch, then maybe let's see what I can do. The original red writing book. Yeah.
I know because they keep talking about it, so now I'm like, I'm gonna do it.
Like, oh God, what is it? Tomorrow we are going to learn how to do transitions and flow and organization. I'm sorry? That's the goal. Because everybody has to leave, well, at least consistently, I lose most of you right around lunchtime.
Yeah.
I'm having to kind of change up a lot of the lessons, so I apologize if it feels like they're not going in order. But I'm trying to prioritize certain things to make sure everybody gets it. Oh, yeah, she was in China. Is yours here? Oh, I signed you. Yeah. Remember when I yelled at you? Yeah, I was right around that.
Yeah. Maybe for lunch, like when they come in and hang out and then
Oh, is there another
yeah.
Oh, you mean that sign-in sheet?
Yeah.
That's usually there? I have no idea. But you're here, as far as I'm concerned, so
There's like back to the Asian people.
there you go. Who needs a little more time? A little more? Okay. How much more?
Monkey.
Okay. 2 minutes.
Oh, we're good.
No, I know she's got it. That's awesome.
I'm like very curious to take the GE. I don't want to take the class, I want to take the.
I think you should take the GUE test out. You know, unless you need the units. But I think if you're a STEM major, the last thing you need is more units. Don't it?
What class?
English 350.
You should teach that class.
I do.
Oh.
Yeah, I teach all of
So
them.
is that after 111 or there's still seats?
It is after 111, yes.
That's a requirement, right, for to watch the seats?
Correct. In order to graduate, you need to fulfill what's known as the graduate writing acquisition requirement, it's called the G1. And that can be fulfilled in 2 ways. Take English 350 or pass the test, the G.
What's the score? You know, the-
What's the score? 1-1 Manchester United. No. What do you mean?
To pass.
To pass?
Good grade.
Depends on which test you're taking. If it's English 350, you need, if you're an undergrad, higher than a C average. If you are just taking the test, I think you need a 7 out of 12. No, maybe it's an 8 out of 12. I'm sorry?
They give you a chance.
Yeah. My goal is by the end of this, you will feel as though you can do it. And if you take me to 111, you're not going to need English 350.
Oh, I can't take you with 11. I know, we're seeing that anytime.
Oh, why not?
My I have
Schedule doesn't work?
chemistry, so the lab is from 2:50,
Mm-hmm.
and then your class starts at 2:30.
Don't I have an earlier one?
I work in the morning.
Oh, shame.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's like,
Well, you can always drop by, because I'll be helping with
Yeah.
writing. If you ever need anything, you let me know. It's good. You're done. All right. Let me hear the shortened versions, please. What do you got? Who's up first, please? Give me that.
The birthday boy and his best friends heated up the log. They used the pipe later and corkscrew to get in. The birthday boy didn't.
Okay, excellent. You could even combine those, I guess, right? Because the birthday boy didn't want just one computer, comma, and then tell me everything else, right? Excellent. Good. Who's next? Oh, Ms. Padilla, you had your hand up first.
Egyptian spies blackmailed and hacked computers with the Nokia phones, sold and left rich dead guys ashes as incentive.
Mm-hmm.
Had the same thing, the shoe thing disguised as a knife in case of getting caught by security to earn money by selling the computers.
Outstanding job. Fabulous. Good. Please.
Asian people named Han, Tan, Ching, and Chong wanted to attend a party that was invited by computer code. They used withheld hot spray, dog tag to break in the lab and computer. They managed to get the code over by the wall.
Okay, right on. Excellent. Thank you so much. What do you got?
Can I didn't write a paper, but I thought about it in my mind. Can I say what we, because something else, but I also I tried to get us a.
Let's hear both. How about that? Yeah? Because I know you wrote one down, right? Okay.
Well, what
Go
I
ahead.
thought was a fancy alcoholic professor was not satisfied with how the world used technology, using a China winer, whatever these are called, and
That's a hip flask.
a hip flask and the what's it called? Oh my god. The
Cufflinks.
he got drunk. He knocked someone in the head.
Okay.
He opened the door and stole it.
Okay, right on. Good. Go ahead and read yours too, please.
Frustrated with how modern technology influences students, a fancy alcoholic professor decided to take matters into his own hands by planning a scheme to steal all the computers. He received an email from the university
Mhm.
Notifying about maintenance, so these are the cameras were gonna be shut down. Blocking the door with cuffed nails. He went home and came back with an urn to knock the security guard down and drank his way through his, through his
The scheme or his heist, yeah. What's wrong with that? That's fine. You
Is that-
goof. So, reflect on what's in front of you. Now, what you've done is that you have answered a series of analytical questions, like we went over yesterday, right? We have summary, which is a who or a what, and then analysis comes in when you're answering how and why. Now, when you summarize your answers like those three types of information into 2 to 3 sentences, that has a name. You all know what it is? What is that thing called that you have in front of you? A little more than that, because it has analysis in it. Summary plus analysis means a thesis statement. A thesis statement is a combination of 3 types of information: a who or a what, a how, and a why. So if you ever wanted to know how to write a perfect thesis statement 100% of the time, this is how you do it. You all right there, Ms. Padilla? You
I'm just
concerned?
processing this because this makes sense.
Oh, okay, fair enough. The problem with thesis statements, as they're usually defined, is that a lot of teachers will tell you that it's just the main point of your paper. And if I were to ask you, what is a thesis statement, this might have been the answer that you gave me. The problem with this answer, though, is that when you've written down the main point of your paper in your intro, haven't you, like, given it to your teacher and then your teacher said, actually, that's not a thesis statement? Or have they said, that's a weak thesis statement? What the hell does that mean, right? Or they'll critique it, or they'll do whatever it is, even though it is exactly what they told you to do. It's the main point of your paper. And that's because most of the time, they don't actually know what they want. Most of the time, what they actually want is a thesis statement that tells them what your topic is. That's your who or your what. How are you going to prove it? Your method. And then the why. Why are you right? Why are other people wrong? Yeah? You get those 3 things together, guaranteed successful thesis statement. 100% of the time. Are there any questions, comments, or complaints about this?
Or were you on our next?
Where was I?
Or were you on our next?
I know.
Oh, why? Is this useful?
I would have been out of English, whatever.
Whatever the hell it is. Yeah. Well, fair enough. I'm so sorry I wasn't in your lives earlier, although maybe that's for the best. So, a way to think about it, or a way to remind yourself of this, is that a thesis statement is not just the main point of your paper. That would be a summary, right? It is, in fact, an argumentative statement of what you intend to prove. It's sort of like your central argument. It's the thing that you want to prove. And so, because of that, it not only needs to be a summary, but it also needs to have your method and your motive. Yes, go ahead.
Is that why, well, when I was in high school, I remember that certain essays had things like argumentative, or, there was a way to classify essays based on, I don't know if it's based on what you said that,
Mhm.
of the thesis, because there was an argumentative essay and there's, paradox, like different ways to kind of, is that why?
There's a ton of different genres of essays, right? So there's like exposition, compare and contrast is what you're thinking of.
Yes.
Yeah. And then argumentative. The nice thing about argumentative papers and getting used to those is that that's basically what you're going to be writing for the rest of college.
Say for example, we would take the what is it called, the G?
The GWE? Okay.
Do you think the prompt would already help us state what, if it's going to be argumentative or, like you said, exposition? Like, would there be a clue for us to know what it is at the beginning, or would that go in when we're already thinking of what to write?
How about this? Unless you are taking UNV, was that UNV 101? What's the first university class?
I think it's all.
Is it 101? If you are not taking UNV 101 or English 99, you are going to be writing argumentative. Just assume that that's the ground state for all other classes from here on.
Because you know how in high school, with your prompt, like your PTs or whatever, was like, oh, write about what makes, say for example, English class avoidance or something,
Yeah.
It was something something really simple.
Because in high school, you're writing mostly summaries or explanations. But now that you're rolling with the big dogs, it's all arguments from here on. And that's okay. That's okay, because you can do it. Obviously, you just did it for me right now. Yeah. So once again, thesis statements explain what, how, and why. As long as you answer all three, you're good. Now I prepared a tool for you. You can have this. I'll email this to you at the end of the week. It's impossible to appropriately predict every single type of research or thesis statement or question that you're going to have to do. But if we follow the rules of the language, I can give you a flow chart that will cover 99% of all thesis statements that you will ever have to write. Why don't I go ahead and give that to you now? Here's how it works. Try to produce 2 to 3 sentences on whatever it is, but these are the questions that you will answer. Notice that they are organized across the top row. Who or what? There's your how questions in the middle, and then the why questions in the third column. The who or the what question will be determined by your teacher most of the time, because they're the ones who are telling you to do it, right? So they'll ask you, for example, a literature teacher asks you, what did Shakespeare mean when he wrote X, Y, Z? Then you would choose the first one. What did the author say about the topic? And then if that's the one, then answer one of these 2 how questions to go with it. How did Shakespeare discuss his topic? Or how did, I don't know, Macbeth or Romeo and Juliet understand young love correctly or incorrectly? Yeah? Think of it like a fill in the blanks kind of thing. It's like a Mad Libs, but for your topics. Yeah? And once you've determined which how question you want to do, then choose whichever why question you want to do. Answer them, 1 sentence apiece, summarize them together, thesis statement's done. Make sense? You all right? Okay, Ms. Navarro, Ms. Rivera, is this crazy talk, or am I smoking crack, or is it going to work? Oh, I am smoking crack. Okay.
No, I'm not saying, I thought you said correct.
Oh, okay, does it seem to work? Cool, all right. Here's another one. Most of the time when you're writing in, say, sociology or psychology, education, those ones that deal with people, most of the time you'll be asked to solve a problem. Yeah? What will you do about pollution? What do you think about capital punishment? Right? These kinds of things that challenge you to think of a solution to a problem. Yeah? If that is your who or your what, say what your problem is. What problem are you trying to solve? Is it global warming? Or climate change, excuse me? Is it minors being tried as adults in courts of law? Whatever it is. Then your how question changes. Then you answer, how are we solving a problem now versus how should we be doing it? In which case you're sort of saying, here's the old way of doing it, here's my way of doing it. Yeah? Here's a different way of solving the problem. Or you can just explain how your solution is different from others. And then your why questions to go with this would be, why is your solution correct? Or if it's not correct, maybe it's better than others. Or why are other solutions wrong? Maybe you're not right, but maybe other ones are even worse. That's okay to do in the sciences, right? It's not, you don't always have to be 100% correct. If you're more correct, though, that's acceptable. Yeah. Or, if you can't answer those 2, maybe answer, why do you think people keep trying to solve the problem the old way? Yeah. Is it money? Are they stuck in their perspectives? Do they need to break out of their mold? Whatever it is. We would answer that then. These last 2 are going to be for research papers. So when you hit that upper division block, these are the types of thesis statements you'll need when you're talking about what other research has been done. So what has been done? How is yours different? Or if you're agreeing with them, how is your research similar? Why does your research prove you right or wrong? It's okay to be right or wrong in research. And why does your research confirm or affirm or deny previous research? Do you agree with other people in your research? Or did you come up with something different? Is yours different from someone else's? In which case, tell someone. Yeah. And then lastly, who has already done research on your topic? Sometimes you'll have to research individual scholars. That would be one of those. How is your research different, or how is it the same? Why is it different? Why is it the same? These 4 who or what questions will pretty much cover most of the thesis statements that you'll have to create, with the notable exceptions of like a couple of different classes you might run into. And obviously this will be in your hands at the end of the week. Any questions, comments, or complaints? Anything at all? Just get a complain about something. Or comment.
It helps us organize our thoughts and what we're gonna say.
Okay, so it's a good organizational tool.
Yeah.
Right on, cool. Ms. De La Cruz, question, comment, or complaint?
I think that's really cool.
Mhm.
You can, well, you can defend your argument and, like in real life, you can use that whenever, you know, you don't have like a fight, but, you know, you're getting accused of something and, you know that's not right, but you can use those points to defend your argument.
That's the goal, right? Especially since you're all going to be STEM majors, so you're going to be on the cutting edge of whatever field you're in. And you're going to have to defend your approaches or your discoveries or whatever, right? So learning how to think like this and write like this, I would say is probably important. Yeah. So Rivera, what do you think? Question, comment, or complaint?
I think it's good, especially because like you mentioned, it breaks, the questions break down every different type of one for and it like breaks it down so well, especially the first one that you're mentioning, like Shakespeare, and you just kind of like just flow.
Excellent, good. So you can see how this might be useful. Fabulous. Please.
I had Avid for high school all my 4 years, and we actually, every week, we actually always used to do this, like the what, how, and why, right?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we used to do the WH,
Mhm.
and I didn't realize that you can actually use this for thesis. So I've
Oh,
been
okay.
doing this for like 4 years, but didn't realize it. For me, how I used to do my thesis, my English teacher, he always told me, do the subject, something in the middle, agree or disagree, and my 3 reasons, and I'm pretty much done. That's how I used to do it, because like, that's how I was taught.
Right.
And this one's like, it's more like upgraded, more college version.
I think so. Yeah.
So it's like.
So you feel upgraded then?
Yeah.
Rock on, all right?
I have a question.
Please.
So the thesis would go at the end of the first paragraph?
It can go anywhere in your introduction, although realistically, most people will look for it at the end of your intro. I say the end of your intro rather than the end of the first paragraph, because as your papers get longer, so do your introductions. So, like if you're taking a chemistry class, maybe you have to write a paper about a certain thinker. Like maybe you're writing about Faraday or something, I don't know. But you might need to have more than one paragraph of intro just to explain what he did and how it's important for your exercise. Does that make sense?
Thesis at the end are used to demonstrate or to achieve or what exactly. You know how
Like what's it for?
there's like a lot of people in the world and everybody, say for example,
Mhm.
someone is taking the same career as me.
Okay,
What
let's
does that, what the thesis, what does that prove on each person?
The thesis statement, what it functionally does, is that it is there as an organizational tool to tell other people what you're arguing. Yeah, and how you're going to do it and why you need to. In essence, it is a statement of your argument, but it's also justifying its worth, right? So a thesis statement kind of needs to prove why you need to do it.
So there can be wrong interpretations?
Sure, it depends, right? How about wrongly interpreting data, right? That's all over in the news right now, right? And that would be part of an argument where you say, no, you are interpreting data incorrectly. That would be part of your why in that case. Make sense? Cool, right on. Spadilla, question, comment, or complaint?
I find it cool because I remember since elementary we did
Yes, ma'am.
who, what, how, why.
Mm-hmm.
They never really expanded how to make a thesis or.
Okay. So it's kind of cool to see an old method, yeah, but get expanded up to a college one?
Yeah.
That's cool. So that question, comment, or complaint? What was it? You don't have anything? That's okay, that can wait. exit.
Well, I already know all of this since winter.
Mm-hmm.
And in the high school, like, I was also taught like the way she was.
Like the Abby scholar? Okay, right on.
So like, I feel like this is more helpful than the way they used to teach it.
Oh, okay, great. I'm glad it's helpful. Really, that's the point, right? I don't want to waste your time. I want to give you stuff that's going to be useful, right? Round us out. Georgie, what do you got? Question, comment, or complaint? Thanks, man. You're a great student. Let's go on break, shall we? I'll see you back in 15 minutes. That brings you back at around 10:33, 10:34-ish. Enjoy.
That's why I say until like 5 in the morning.
Oh, this is a Pepto-Bismol. Well, now it's a fashion accessory, yeah. Because you're the only one cool enough to do it.
Or just needed a lanyard because I want to carry this in my pocket, which I don't have.
Yeah, lanyards are cool too, right? Right on.
So introduction could have
Yes.
two paragraphs?
Oh yeah, they can. When you start getting up in like a thesis or a dissertation level, intros take 20 pages. Well, because it's not just about saying, okay, like introduction, you talk about background info, right? But sometimes in intro, you also need to justify why you're doing what you're doing, right? What if you're writing to someone and they don't think what you're doing is worth their time? Well, then you need to convince them really early